everyone, I am DD Dweller and we are doing another Stranded Alien Dawn playthrough starting on day 15 with the seed Proof Rest, and I've already created 2 playthrough videos preceding this one where we first set up our camp and everything went right and we got 6 total survivors in the first 12 days, and then the second playthrough, which just spanned a couple of days but a couple of brutal days because it seemed like absolutely everything was going wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and load game from where we last left off, and I do want to say that I have received so many wonderful comments. Hi! Thank you, because you guys have been really awesome engaging in the comment section of my first 3 videos. This channel is still very new, and I have been overwhelmed with the vast majority of positive remarks that have been left on the videos. I think in this installment, I want to name our settlement, and I had asked you guys for a couple of suggestions, so we're gonna look over those. Okay, I think we can unpause for a second here. It looks like Krista is about to have a meltdown, so maybe we should do, oh, it's too late. She is having a meltdown. She's doing a food binge. Let's take a look at our cooked meals for a second. We have plenty, like way too many mushroom croquettes even. I don't know how that could happen, but we have plenty of cooked meals, so I think it's all right if she gorges through a few of them. I don't think it's gonna hurt everybody else's food reserves for their meals when they wake up. We did add spaceship deconstruction to our research queue. Once we go ahead and get that under our belt, we'll be able to deconstruct some of the debris that is littered around and actually locate some electronics that will get us started on our power grid. And I really want to do it that way, with finding the electronics, building some wind turbines or solar panels or both, rather than burning fuel with the diesel generators, because we are already very low on fuel as is. And take a look very quickly at our cooking, because it seems to me there are no cooking tasks over here in the kitchen. They must all be coming from this fire pit. And that doesn't make a lot of sense either. Where did we get these? I remember now. We got these extra dishes, the chef's meals, the sweet meat pies, and the mushroom croquettes from that very last expedition when we sent Rita back out as a Hail Mary to hopefully bring home a 7th survivor. And instead, she came back with this food. But now that we have taken a look at that and have realized that we're still cooking over here, I'm gonna go ahead and take those off of the fire pit and bring it all inside. And we're going to add the option to make 2 of those at a time, the option to make 2 of these at a time. I'm gonna add veggie pizza as well. And then we'll go into our usuals. Our character is gaining all this food and having so many options on the cuisine is really kind of like made this a little bit of a vacation spot. You could almost convince yourself that they were on a little bit of a cruise out to this remote planet if it weren't for the massive bug attacks. I do have some catching up to do here, it looks like, because we seem to still have this window here where we don't want it. That's in the way of us putting a fridge inside here, so we're gonna do that. Who is making that sound? I suspect they're eating the chef's meals right now to be making all of that sound. When we did think that we were gonna potentially get a 7th person, came to the quick realization that with the workbenches in these 2 rooms, we couldn't really add another bed without blocking something. So I think what we need, in all honesty, is more rooms. And I think one way to do it is to build out on either side of the kitchen, and then we can just have our doors coming into these spaces from the kitchen. It's still technically utilizing a common space to access these rooms, so it's not like we're gonna be walking through another bedroom to get to the back bedroom. We're going to grab the roof. We're gonna extend this way. We'll do it again the other side. Okay, so we'll add some walls. And then, hopefully, we have the option to move this. Yeah, now we do. I think that should do it. Okay, so All of that said and done, I was actually reading the comment section, and a recommendation on how to deal with the flying mobs that attack was to actually have a covered porch type area without any walls so that they can take cover and still shoot or fire back. So I'm hoping that this space will be large enough to serve that purpose. If not, I can always extend it out once we deconstruct the crashing, or the what do you call it, shuttle landing pod. So once I deconstruct the landing pod, then we can extend it, or perhaps just build another one somewhere else that has all 4 sides exposed. Long story short, all of that is to say that they also recommended, and I'll put the comment up on screen as well, that I add carpet to that space so that when they are occupying it, they're not getting that cave dweller debuff. And I think for an outdoor space, for a patio, I'm gonna use the wood flooring option. And I suppose we have to wait for this room to be constructed so I can move that window so I can add the fridge here. So we're gonna be waiting for a while, but it will be worth the wait. These are the flying guys we were talking about. These things right here that look so cute and colorful. You would think, oh, that's just beautiful, how lovely, how calming and inspiring, until they start attacking you. So we are getting extra synthetic textiles. That's good. I think we have an option to research synthetic armor, which if I'm gonna keep getting that from Ken scavenging, then I'm gonna want to add that to my queue. Yeah, we have synthetic armor. It's like right here. I'm really, really, really eager to first get ourselves some electricity and some fuel fermenting. Those are pretty big on my list. It's gotten dark again already, but we are making great progress on this build thanks to Chad, so, and probably Jack as well. I didn't check, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume he was helping out. So now we can go back into storages here, grab ourselves a refrigerator, rotate that sucker around, and plant it in the kitchen. And then tomorrow, I'm sure he'll put that together for us and we can start allocating where we want like prepped meals and raw foods to be stored and free up some extra space over here in our storage shed. This wasn't completely finished, so let's finish it. What a weird place to save where I like only half built the storage in this space. I like to copy them and get the same instructions. There we go. Look who got stuck. He built himself into this room and now he can't get out to go to bed. We need to fix that. So let's go ahead and copy this and we'll do it one more time for the other side. There we go. Now, that said, I do see room to move our dartboard inside. So we're gonna do that here. Okay, so flooring, I'm gonna stick with carpet because it's another bedroom, just like the other ones. We don't have electricity yet, but I went ahead and had them build bulbs. So right now, what's gonna require power is going to be the refrigerator, the 8 lamps, and then also the soldering bench, but I'll probably keep that turned off unless we're using it. It's gonna be 46 degrees higher than usual, so our crops are probably gonna take a hit, but we're not growing any crops, not yet. I want to be. I think it's time to plant some glitter caps because it's the one thing we don't have readily available in abundance in the local area. And glitter caps make great alternatives to lighting. So if I'm having a hard time keeping the fridge on and the lamps are just not helping the situation, you know, if they're like drawing power away from the refrigerator, then I can try and replace the lamps with torches, like little glowing mushroom torches. Hang on, so they're in here, in the camp section, right here, shroom torch, that's what they're called. They also count as decor, which is another reason why I like to use these, because then we get like a decor buff. And if I stick one of these in each room, we're already using less electricity. So yeah, that's the plan. We are definitely going to plant some glitter caps. Let's figure out where these would go best. It looks like we're seeing 75% here, 75% here, 100% here. This is probably our best spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw out a field. We'll do a small one. We'll start with small and then we'll go bigger. Okay, we have another security signal. So let's see what it says. The site of a recent crash started emitting an automatic high-frequency security signal. Codes are characteristic to military modules. The signal is either coming from one of the ship defense systems or from one of the onboard reconnaissance vessels. My hope is that a reconnaissance vessel implies that there might be a person, but I'm not really too confident that that's what that means. Before, when I've seen this particular prompt, it's mostly just led to some story, like advancement as far as like, why did we crash? Or it's led to extra resources or maybe even a tech buff. But so far, playing this for 200 plus hours, I haven't seen the security signal render an extra survivor, at least not yet. Either way, we're obviously still gonna go. So let's send Rita, because Rita has been just the most excellent person to send, because regardless of what she finds at the site, she tends to also make other discoveries en route. Let's go ahead and put this back into play. And fingers crossed she brings us back good news. I do like looking at this from this window. I mean, it's just fun, right? Like, it just looks cool. And then we see out here cruise ship debris, which is where she's headed. Yeah, I think that's a really fun add-on. Like, they didn't have to do that, but they did, and it's awesome. I still do not trust these guys over here. They sound like cicadas. I feel like that noise is these. And yeah, I don't trust them. Spaceship deconstruction achieved. Expedition complete. I can try to find something useful before it's all blown away or ruined by the weather. Our options are: sure, we could use some clothes or textiles, or better do some scavenging. We need the scrap more. I'm gonna go with clothing because we have plenty of scrap metal. We have 1.5 thousand units of scrap metal. So yeah, I'll take the clothing and textiles, please. Expedition discovery. This is why we send Rita. What were we just talking about? We were talking about salvaging this, which is what I'd really much rather have Ken doing right now. There's that banging sound that we can't seem to get away from. And Rita is back. Looks like we've gained some pants and some shoes. And oil extraction has been researched, which means we can now add something new to our queue. Let's figure out antibiotics next while we go ahead and fulfill this requirement in the meantime. Extract. Which grain do we have? Plenty. All right, we have plenty of grain, so let's go ahead and do that. And who can we ask to help us with this? He is handling the balloon. When he's done with that, I'm gonna ask him to help us with this. It's nice having a handler character, an extra survivor who can assist with all the menial tasks while your key set are still doing their specialties. So we've still got Ken scavenging, we've still got Vivian crafting, you know, and we can keep Krista researching, things like that. What kind of food are we rotting away here? That reminds me, we want to keep raw foods and cooked foods in here. What we can do now that we have the refrigerator is uncheck cooked meals from these shelves and get all the cooked meals stored inside. And he's already handling that because Jack is awesome. He's moving those indoors to the fridge, but the fridge is not powered yet. We still need electronics before we can power this grid. And Chad's having a meltdown. Of all the meltdowns though, crying is not a bad one to have. I prefer hiding, because at least then they're hiding inside, and then if you're having really poor weather or a toxic ash or something, they're not outside just murdering themselves. They're at least inside. But I think crying is a close second as far as like the least troublesome of the meltdowns that they can have. Jack is eating, Vivian is finishing her previous meal. I think maybe I can ask her to finish this off. She might tell me to go to HE double hockey sticks like she did that first night if I try to task her after work hours are over, but we can give it a shot. Is she done yet? I can't tell. Who do we have here? Rita? Maybe Rita will do it for us. Oh, this reminds me, I did want to kind of switch up the room arrangement now. We don't have to have these guys bunking together. So let's go ahead and change that so that they're not. We have vegetable oil now, so that means dun, 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 we can come in here and at long last, where is it? There it is. We can add fuel mixing to our production queue. Mushroom croquettes, we had discovered this and then it has like promptly gone to waste, which is not great. Well, I guess then we're gonna have to toss this out. So we'll go ahead and mark that. And for anybody who doesn't already know, they did update the issues that we had in early development with not being able to get rid of spoiled food. Now all you have to do is open up the storage where it's being contained and then right click on the icon and that will go ahead and mark it to be thrown away. It is day 18 and we still do not have walls, like fortification walls, so maybe that's what I should be working on next. If I want to be super gratuitous, I can actually fence in this whole pond, which I kind of do want to do so that it feels like if this was, say like, I don't know, a destination, a vacation destination, we would want to fence in the water so people could like go for a hike or a walk around the lake. Yeah, let's go ahead and be a little gratuitous. Let's fence in, but not like with the big, tall, scary wooden fences. Let's go smaller, just for aesthetics here, and fence ourselves in. Let's go there for now. See where that lands us. We are still in a heat wave. I gotta be careful of that. 66 degrees outdoors. Let's actually try to retain some of the coolness of the nighttime indoors by closing the excessive amount of windows. They are tiny, but they are many. So we will close these up and try to retain the temperature indoors before things get too hot. I don't know if I love this flooring. I might change it. I've actually never changed a floor before, so hopefully it'll let me. Flooring, stone paving. Yeah, it's not gonna lay them unless I get rid of the paving that's there. Can you not replace floors once you've laid them? Am I stuck with that? I have the option to deconstruct virtually everything else, but not this wood flooring. I do not love that. We are going to deconstruct that, I guess. I'm gonna have to rebuild this whole thing in the front now, just so I can change the flooring type. Let's go back in here and try this again. So, roof, stone. I don't want it to be crazy high like that. I want it to be the appropriate height, which I think that is. I think we're sitting at the appropriate height, hopefully so. But now, we can add the floor we want, which I'm gonna go with stone paving this time because I just did not think the wood looked that great with like the stone cinder blocks. The base was still showing as if like the wood floors didn't extend all the way to the edges. I just didn't like the way it looked. I thought it was kind of hideous. So we're doing it again. And this time we're gonna stick with stone because at least then the stone will sort of blend together with the cinder block foundation. I think adding this fence though is going to tell the game that I have a lot more defense than I actually do. So let's cancel, or not cancel, but put a halting those because I want to make sure that I've at least defended the actual camp first before we do that, because otherwise I'm going to get attacked and I'm not actually going to have the defenses I need to fend off whatever the AI sends me. All right, so we're getting our glitter caps now. Rita's out here planting them for us. That's good. The other thing is we have the option now for fuel fermenting, which is done on the workbench. So let's go in here to crafting with our dear friend Vivian. Now we can craft liquid fuel, and I think we'll go for 100. That said, we're gonna back out and queue some other research. I'm gonna go with brick. Even though we do have a surplus of stone right now, we are about to lose it all by building that vanity fence. And with brick, we're also going to get a different color of textile, and I think that that's going to really help with the aesthetics of our settlement because it is looking a little bland. I do hope he's salvaging. He is. Okay, good. I am still waiting for the beautiful notification that tells us we have gained electronics, because that is going to make a huge difference. The moment we have that, it's going to change everything. They are all in the dark. I don't imagine they're loving that. Could we maybe harvest some glitter claps now? How rusted is everyone? Can we put somebody to work? I'm gonna take advantage of Rita here for a moment and have her harvest some glitter caps because she's well rested. And I really would like to grab some of these and get started on some alternative lighting sources so we're not getting that it's too dark debuff. Are there others? That's why we're farming them, because there's honestly not many for me to even come out here and harvest in the wild. Jack's doing all right too, so I might have him haul them when Rita's done so I can move her over here to harvesting these ones next. Oh look, more fallen trees. We love fallen trees. You can get so much wood out of fallen trees. What's that sound? It's a thunderstorm. That's what that sound was. Okay. Where is Jack? He's so far away. Oh my goodness. Rita, now is not the time to harvest that. I'm so sorry. I need everybody to stay close to home so nobody gets struck by lightning. That's kind of the goal here. She can do this. This is researching. He's chopping wood. Too far outside the circle. I'm gonna bring him back in. Jack, where are you, friend? Probably also going outside the circle. I panic. Like, I legitimately panic when we get thunderstorms because I don't know where everybody is. And I feel like I really, really need them to come inside. And I think I might just have to draft Chad because no matter what I tell him to do, he keeps heading back out there into the storm. So we're just gonna bring him inside. Rita, she did go and harvest that. I thought I brought her back too. Well, at least she didn't get electrocuted. She is at a risk of a meltdown though. That's not great. I don't know. I'm worried about letting to undraft Chad because he is just going to run out into the wilderness and do anything other than what's best for him. Maybe if we can get him to eat something, that might be good. No queue in our research tab. Let's halt everything. It's getting a little crazy. Just basically biding time until we get those electronics as far as the research queue goes. It's so scary. That sound is so scary. And hopefully everybody stays put and doesn't get electrocuted. Speaking of, this is somebody not staying put. So frustrating. Why would she do this? It's ridiculous. It's Krista, of all people, running clear out off the map. That definitely struck something. I don't know what, but it definitely struck something. It sounds like it's going away. Whew. Okay, so we have scavenged 18 medical supplies, 28 of these metal alloys, and 423 extra scrap metals, but yet still no electronics. Now we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. Like I said before, I am so thankful to all of the comments and the subscribers and to everyone who has been a part of this experience and likes this game just as much as I do. I appreciate you being here and sharing that enthusiasm with me. I really do. It's been amazing. And one of the comments that I got on the first playthrough video, and I'll go ahead and scroll up so you can see which one it is, Stranded Alien Dawn, gameplay and tips to get extra survivors, episode 1. We have this comment down here where I was given the suggestion by Nick Smith, New Haven or 2 ponds, which is so interesting because one of my previous settlements I did name 3 Pond City because there was this triangulation of ponds and I built my settlement right in the center of those 3 ponds. So it would be almost reminiscent if I did do 2 ponds to name it something like that. I have replied already to this comment, and I also brought up the idea about how the two ponds kind of look like a boot print, and I was wondering if maybe we could work that in somehow, maybe call it Boot Sole Lake or something. Another one that was suggested to me by Blackbird 2000 or Blackbird Z2000 down here was to name the town Cute Desperate Blonde Paradise. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for you here. We are not gonna name it Cute Desperate Blondes Paradise. It's too wordy. It's too much. Because then we're gonna have to, you know, shorten it a little bit. It's gonna end up having some kind of an acronym, and I don't really think that that's really the best route. It's not a good look either, by the way, Blackbird Z. It's just not. I do feel that we are going to want to name it something that's a nod to that geographical iconography, so to speak. And I'm really into the idea of Boot Sole Lake. It's my working title for the time being. I am still open to suggestions. I think we're gonna call it, at least in the interim, Boot Sole Lake, until we come up with a name that is a little bit more exciting. All right, let's go ahead and get these guys back in action, because it looks like Vivian has gone ahead and crafted us some weapons, since it's now giving me the unarmed ping. So we're gonna go ahead and arm up some of our characters here. Oh right, we now have the research to support bricks, but now we have to actually make the bricks. Once we do that, we're gonna be able to create fences out of brick that have an integrity of 100, which is double that of the stone fence. Okay, so with the concrete route though, we do have an additional research for concrete fortifications, and this, I think, would increase to a much higher integrity for concrete if we were to first research concrete rooms and then concrete fortifications and build our walls, our defensive walls from there. So perhaps that's what we'll try to do instead. Oh, it's gone. Look at that. It's completely gone. There is no more landing pod. It has been utterly cannibalized. Okay, so I guess next thing's next. We're gonna wanna salvage this. And maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky, we'll get some electronics. That is kind of like the name of the game right now. Can find electronics, because our landing pod definitely did not lend us any. We'll start with the rooms that have workbenches, and maybe one in the kitchen, and at the end of these two beds. I think I'm gonna have to move this bed over for a better spot. And at this rate, we won't need ceiling lamps. Not gonna take them out, not gonna uninstall them. We're just gonna put them on a different circuit and then turn that circuit off so that we're not powering them unless we run out of refuel for the shroom torches, in which case then we're gonna wanna turn on the lights. Like, such a sucker for the view. I just wanna see the sunrise. There it is, screenshot material. Researched winemaking. Let's celebrate by making some wine. All right, so limit reached on pickling vegetables, but nobody said anything about limit reached on making wine. So we're gonna start making some wine. Meteor rain. Okay, now's when I'm gonna wanna have eyes on everyone, because I really don't want anybody getting crushed by a meteor. Oh. Kind of horrifying because you don't know where it's gonna fall. Yikes. Hey, I can see the sun as it's sinking on the horizon. Wait a minute, there's another pond over here? There is, there's another pond over here. A tinier one, smaller one, but hey. How easily could she have been crushed? I cannot believe she's just out here in the dark. This close to meteor rain. At least it stopped though. It's no longer on my notifications, so at least there's no more coming. That was pretty horrifying. But look, now we have light. Let there be light. And there is. And I think we need like one more for this room. And since it's your room, friend, you can do the honors of constructing your own torch. Yes, that looks so much better. The stone What kind of flooring is that? Let's look again. It's called stone paving. Yeah, the stone paving floor looks way better on the front patio than the wood did. That is such an improvement, visually, such an improvement. But also having some light is a huge improvement. And it's like, let there be light. Maybe that'll be the title of this video. Let there be light. And we do have light. It's a little unconventional. It's not the way we were expecting to do it, but we did it. We got light. It's so loud in there. Like you go in there and you hear everybody working and all the sound effects are just, it's such a loud space. And then you zoom out and it's just the lapping of water. And it sounds so nice. And hopefully, all of Ken's hard work over here is gonna render the results that we need them to so that we can start actually powering this refrigerator and preserving our foodstuffs a lot longer. But the other thing we can do now that we have a living room or a living space is add some more comfort furniture. So let's go back into furniture. Let's go look at some armchairs. And since we have synthetics, why not use them? Why not rotate this around and give ourselves some seating areas? New insect nest, which is not that far off, to be honest. Like we're right here and I can still hear these guys. So let's start with defense, fortification, and the wood ones. And then we will, I'm gonna do a really ugly fence around just this property and separate it from this stuff, unfortunately. It's just a means to an end for the moment. Well, we seem to have another opportunity. So let's take it. Expedition, cruise ship debris. Oh, I didn't realize we could still go back. Hey now. Maybe if we send Ken, he'll actually bring us back some electronics. Let's try. And then we'll revisit the idea of like the shooting star. And then I suppose what I really need now is distracted. Oh goodness. Okay. What I really need now is to grab these gates and drop some on here in a way that will help channel our bad guys. So let's copy this again one more time. 2 more times. And we're gonna add some traps, because we need traps. I don't think we have any traps yet. It's a huge deal when it comes to defense. So we'll do that. And I guess the other thing I'm gonna want is one of those towers. And that's where a door is, so I can't put it there. Or ideally I could just change where this door is. So copy that, rotate it around, put it here. Cancel that, cancel this. A little bit of this, that. And a tower. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Yes. I think that will do for now. Okay. We have some aggressive animals. We have a new nest in sight. We have ourselves blueprints for defense. But what we don't have is a guy with a gun, because I just sent him on an expedition and now we are being attacked. Rita has recombat and she has herself a crossbow. I don't know which way they're coming around. Let's see if I can put her here, if it'll make a difference. And everybody else we're gonna bring inside the fence. So Krista can go here. Chad can go here. Hopefully he'll stay inside the fence this time. Vivian doesn't have a... Well, it's okay, because they will have like a shank or something. Even if they're unarmed, they'll at least have some kind of melee weapon. Let's play and see what happens. Which way are they approaching? From this side, all right. I need her to shoot this guy, that's what I need her to do. That did not go well. And pause, because I just realized I have everybody on the wrong side of the fence. I need them to all be on this side. If she could shoot them before they get here, that'd be great. Is that it? I think that's it. Oh! Ken heard a noise. I was about to start inspecting debris when I heard a rummaging noise. I froze in place, listening to the clink of metal and huffing and puffing of a creature on the other side. What to do? With the element of surprise on my side, I leap at it and scared it good. It fled, limping, and I got to see what it was, intent on digging out. It turned out to be an almost completely rotted corpse. That sucks. I buried the poor soul as deep as I could and scavenged some scrap. That was not worth scrap metal. That's pretty awful, actually. And who do we have that's capable of doing some medical healing? We have Jack, who seems to be on the job. Chad here, who is physically injured and waiting, and Krista, same. There we go. And look who is back with the scrap metal we didn't need. That's great. Well, at least we can butcher these guys and turn them into fuel as well. That's something. Ooh. Well, we've gained power cells. I do feel like now we are barking up the right tree, because if we're getting electronics in the form of power cells, maybe we'll get electronics in the form of electronics. So maybe, just maybe, we're on the right track. Let's go ahead and give Ken the opportunity to hunt this, and that'll help him feel better. His pluses will go up, his buffs will go up. Really, everybody's buffs should be going up because they all got their own room now. So that's like pretty big benefit. Oh no. It's a thunderstorm. Do I dare? No, I'll let him go back to the place to eat, because that's what he needs to be doing. I need everybody to be staying close to base, actually, because we're having a thunderstorm. We have an insufficient amount of timber. That is why we build these. So important. Keeps everybody safe. But it's not powerful enough to power the fridge, so we're gonna have to find those electronics. That is our top priority right now, finding those electronics. And probably secondary priority is gonna be like building the actual like fortifications. Ooh, heat wave. So our second heat wave, I'm imagining that's gonna hit a little harder than the first one, but also we are just on the cusp of transitioning between summer and fall, so maybe the impact won't be that great. The longer the gameplay goes on, the more complex like the goals become, and so it's like more to keep track of. It's not as simple as, all right, get a roof over our heads, a bed on the ground, and a fireplace, and we're golden. Like it's far more complex. Things are gonna start, you're gonna have more steps involved, and there's also gonna be more of these tasks and goals to keep track of. So we're gonna be like progressing forward, but on like 10 different tracks as we lead into the next day and the next day and the next day, as we're trying to make the best settlement that we can, and obviously the best technological advances that we can to achieve the goal of this game, which in its current iteration is to get everybody rescued from off the planet. So that's sort of like long game. I'm not as concerned with that because I'm much more into this for the settlement building aspect. I like the idea of having to tame this wilder landscape and having to like acclimate to a new planet, a new biosphere, or what have you, and develop like sort of like the first settlement or one of the first settlements on planet. I just find that's very exciting. It's fun gameplay. I'm not terribly concerned with getting my people off planet because as a player myself, I don't go with them off planet. So it's not really that exciting for me to give up my survivors, to return them from whence they came, because then I can't play with them anymore. With that in mind, I'm actually kind of curious why other people enjoy this game and play it as often as they do, and if you have like your own scenarios in mind or things that you would like to see done with the game. I know that having generations would be really cool. We do have the marriage arch, the wedding arch in furniture, where we could build this and have wedding ceremonies and characters can pair up and get married, but that's kind of the extent of it. They don't really have children or anything after that, so you're not really building generations. And if you were, I'm sure people would be comparing this game a lot more to The Sims than what they currently are. But I do think that that would be a cool evolution of gameplay in future, maybe alternative scenarios that they could add to the game in the future. I think permanent settlement would be a good one. I think if at all possible, adding the potential for generations would be really great. And maybe they would randomize their traits, or maybe they would inherit traits based on who their parents were. Because I know some people have already played this game where they've just gone decades building. So it'd be nice to see them grow as well. Of course, that brings up another point, which is that we have a maximum cap at 8 survivors total of gameplay right now, unless you have maybe one of those mods or some kind of cheat code. You know, if we're going to do generations, I'm sure the number of characters is going to have to evolve with that. I'm going to just try to fast track this a little bit. So we have a new resource, electronics. Yes! Cue the applause. I don't know, chimes or something, because we have reached our goal. This wasn't it. She's talking about something else, but Ken has scavenged some electronics, which means we can now produce electricity. This, I'm not gonna turn this down either though. Krista having a CPU core research breakthrough is nothing to sneer at. So yeah, I'm glad that we also gained that. I consider this a very strong win right now. And with that, we're gonna go in here and do what I've been waiting to do all along. And that is add wind turbines to our queue, add batteries for energy storage to our queue, and solar panels to our queue. That was my ultimate goal for this playthrough. I wanted to get us power. I wanted to make sure that we achieved electricity this time, like this round, and I think now we can do that. Yeah, we are just doing great with this scavenging. That has made a significant difference. I'm so glad that panned out. Old equipment, she is working on creating some new equipment, so hopefully it won't be too much of a wait. She is the master when it comes to tailoring, so I think that she'll be able to knock that out pretty quickly for us. Insufficient materials though, we're still at like a timber deficit. We need to correct this. I think to do that, we're gonna need Jack's help, which means I'm actually gonna need him to stop with the harvesting and start with the the chopping. We seem to be out of resources to cook everything. That's not great. How is that possible? Don't we at least have veggies? We have a limit of 2 in stock. Well, maybe we'll increase that limit, just knowing that all these other things are missing resources in the meantime, which doesn't seem possible because we, again, should have an insane amount of vegetables. I guess it's grains that we need, huh? So we're gonna cancel that and move it somewhere else because I'm going to make a grain field. Let's go to farming green cob, and let's find a good spot for growing green cob. It looks like this is a really good spot for growing grain cob. We'll do that. And honestly, I think this field's a little too big, but we'll also use the grains for antibodies. And what other things could we be harvesting or farming that would be useful to us? I guess we could try some giant grass. Let's have Vivian go out here and do a little harvesting. Same thing with our friend Rita, because I think they'll both have a good yield, since they both have the farming skill. Hungry Pest. This one's new to this playthrough. I don't know if these guys are going to attack or if they're just going to eat all the good food nearby. It could go either way. But also terrifying, because this might be the time somebody gets struck by lightning. Kind of letting them finish what they're doing, so hopefully it's not gonna like backfire terribly. It just says rain so far. I'm not seeing thunderstorm, so we might be okay. Oh, except for the fact that we're under attack. I really need to get this wooden fortification constructed so that I can stand him up here and he's not using a knife to stab these things when he has a gun. This whole thing just seems super, super inefficient, and I don't love it. Okay, let's undraft him for a second. So Ken is gonna have to treat himself. At least, hey, on the bright side, Rita reached healing level 4, so can't be too mad. And we have music. That's pretty awesome. Wow. Concert's over. So we want power and we want a completed defense system. That's where I want to end this. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like power through. I've got them on like fast forward and see if we can go ahead and knock this out for us so that all of our basic needs are met and we can progress forward into things that we want more so than what we need, or as the case might have it, maybe things that we need that we didn't realize we need, like other resources for eating besides vegetables, for instance, or clothing for the winter that Vivian has yet to craft. Speaking of transitioning the seasons, look around at all of these gorgeous fall colors. We have so much autumn going on. It's really pretty. Just everywhere we look, super cool. And we did get that wind turbines, so I think we'll be able to start installing these now. And I think too that maybe we could just add them in here. I'm not sure. Let's go into the power menu, grab ourselves some wind turbines here. How far will they reach? They will reach this far. I think that'll be good. 4 should be good, right? 4 is a great place to start at least. We're still deficient on wood though. We're gonna need a little more lumber. I'm gonna turn this back on to see if we have any more marked for cutting. I don't think we're gonna need necessarily that many, so I'm gonna go ahead and release these, cancel those orders, and then bring Chad out here just to carve. Actually, let's borrow Ken for a moment to cut these trees, because the scavenging isn't as much of a priority now that Ken has already met that goal. So we're gonna set him to work on cutting down more trees while we let Jack and Chad continue with construction, since that is our next priority. And honestly, we're looking really close to getting all of this put back together. So I'm kind of excited about that. I think maybe even we could open back up some of these windows. Not that it hurts to keep the space buttoned up, but This is kind of the best time of the year for like airing out your dwelling. You've got like that nice crisp fall air. You've got the beautiful views out the window. I would not want to miss this if I were them. So I'm gonna go ahead and open those windows back up and take advantage of it while it lasts. All right. Risk of meltdown Ken, but he's currently relaxing, so hopefully that will appease him a little bit. I think maybe even practicing shooting might be the way to go for him. He might enjoy that. I think we can spare a little bit more of Chad's time to constructing before he nods off to sleep. And this right here should be the end of that. Oh, so close, but not quite. We're missing some doors here. That should do it. And that is everything that we set out to do this run through, and I'm really excited to say that we achieved it with a little bit of luck, especially when it came to those electronics, and I appreciate you sticking through it with me. If you would have done it differently, or you want to suggest or recommend another way, that please leave those down in the comments below, along with your take on the name for this settlement. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked this video, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe because we are covering more Stranded Alien Dawn content all the time, and I will see you in the next video where we will take advantage of this power and put it to good use. That's everything. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!